Today is February 27th, 2012. It is the 100th birthday of the poet Lawrence Durrell. Tonight I'm going to be doing an informal lecture about Durrell over at the NX Cafe. I was a huge fan of his. I discovered his Alexandria Quartet and the whole body of his literature when I was about 21, and I decided to get everything I could that he'd ever written. I discovered this book, Key to Modern British Poetry. I read this book several times, and I began to think that this was how I needed to write songs, because I wanted to be a poet who sang his words, not just a rock and roll star. Well, I went off to Los Angeles in 1975, and shortly after then an old friend of mine from Pennsylvania joined me in Los Angeles, and he and Pat Meehan and I put out this fabulous record, Bump Cars. This thing was actually probably my best-selling record ever, because it went through 2 pressings, and this song, Born to Screw, was #1 on Boston's Brandeis University student radio for something like 2 weeks. So beat that. Anyway, Dan was a marvelous poet, and this was his sort of Lao Tzu moment. He'd come out to Los Angeles to write a screenplay, and somehow or other that didn't work, or the connections he had didn't pan out, and so he was going to go back to Pennsylvania. But before going back, we asked him, "Oh, wise old man Lao Tzu, please leave us with something," and Bump Cars was it. And it's we call it sort of literary punk rock. It was marvelous. But at that time I lived in Los Angeles, close to Western and 6th Street, and there was a bookstore called Bloomsbury on Western. And there was a book by Lawrence Durrell right there that became so important to me. I'd been looking for it. It's his last book of poetry, Vague and Other Poems, and it was my favorite poems of his. And I carried this book for years with me everywhere, and as you can see, it's falling apart. I love these poems dearly, and they infected my writing. That's the point. So after I was going a little bit deaf from loud punk rock music, and I decided to go acoustic, and I put out this album, and this album was called Dark Ages, because it was about a very dark period in my life that went on for ages. But the songs that I was writing for this album were very much influenced by Vega and other poems, especially a song called Ballad of Canoga Dan, and that was about Dan Wilson, who lived in Canoga Park when he was writing a screenplay and when he was cooking up the songs for Bump Cars. And I wrote it much in the style of some of the poems, especially I would say the poem Sepharis, and I think it's about time I fessed up to that. So anyway, if it works out, I'm going to sing the song again, which I haven't sung or haven't performed in, oh, maybe, goodness, over 20 years. So we'll see how that works. See you there.
The palm wait, I can't hear it.
That's it. Oh. Well, Joel's gone already.
Must be the music.
Trees are swell.
Outside the shopping mall.
The dreams of summer fading.
At last
beyond the cold. There's snow up in the mountains. There's rain upon the sea. And there's years to fall upon the song of who we chose to be. So I make a poor apostle with my mixed up metaphor, but then he's not around to come and knocking on my door to show me where I'm wrong and lead us all in song who dwell upon this Gothic desert sand, where he we call Canoga Dan did stand. Summoned to Golgotha out on Route 66, his faithful family rambler as his winged crucifix. The ladies sadly shake their tails They'd seen the holes made by the nails to satisfy or disbelieve in men. Canoga Dan, the man will rise again. The palm trees are swaying outside the shopping mall. The dreams of summer fading at last beyond recall. There's snow up in the mountains, there's rain upon the sea. There's years to fall upon this song of who we chose to be. Oh, you're a better man than I, Canoga Dan. Unlikely looking master with a master plan. Emilio Fabro, and how that cat could blow. For the pure at heart he always will defend. He'd do us all for them until the end.
There you go. Shake it out. Shake it.
It even had Italian in it. Emilio Fabro. The better craftsman. Which is what T.S. Eliot called Ezra Pound. So it's an obvious radio. Okay, that's it, folks. Go home.